Hey Ganesha, welcome back to On the Mic. Today, we are taking a closer look at the Delhi blasts and what the investigation has uncovered. This is a sensitive topic, and our intention is to understand the timeline calmly and responsibly. To help us make sense of these findings, we have with us our guest of the show, Vijay, a freelancer who loves exploring a variety of topics ranging from geopolitics, sports, entertainment, and national politics, with a lot of curiosity and genuine interest. Vijay, welcome. Thank you for joining us today.
Hi, Chakri, and hi, all the viewers. Jai Ganesha. So let's get kick started because it's a very important topic and sensitive one. We'll try best to put the facts as much as possible, whatever we know from the public domain, and make it a little bit easily understandable to all the audience. And we'll also share our perspective of a potential solution for these sort of events when that occur. Yeah.
Right, right. Well, before we step into the details, I want to start with something simple. When you look at the events of November 2025, what stood out to you first? Was there something about the sequence that suggested a deeper pattern? What are your views on that, Vijay?
I think if you look at the actual event, the blast happened on November 10, around 7 p.m. near the Red Fort. But if you look at the pre-blast scenario, I think the 1 week, I think following from November 2nd to November 10th, I think until that morning, there was a series of terror bus all across the India. And on the 10th morning, by the 10th morning, I would say, I think our security agencies have got in control of close to 3,000 kgs of explosive materials, which includes ammonium nitrate and RDX equivalent, and there are AK-47 guns and all. So everyone were quite alarmed because that's an amount that would be used for a similar sort of a bomb blast in Mumbai, which was done like 20, 30 years back, and
Right.
so it was a quite an alarming situation. So Uh, and although we captured that much amount of the material, and still there were a lot of investigations that were going along with all the doctors and the paramedical staff who were captured, who were caught during this raid. There was no particular direction that people were heading, like where is the end point of it, but everyone was on the air, like thinking something might happen. And thanks to all our security forces and agencies, the police and all across the length and breadth of India, I think for now they have saved us from a big event. And what just happened, we don't know why it happened. Some are saying it could be out of panic because police were already, there was a lot of barricades, that there was a lot of checking going in and around Delhi during that point of time.
Mhm.
Is that the reason that, or like, is it the deliberate attempt like, okay, in that particular network, everyone are caught like, I'm the last one, I should do something, and they wanted to create that sort of an impact. So those results are not at all, because until the entire full investigation, or until this loop is closed, like we are not going to see that to light, but we can only go to the conspiracies. But I would say, like, yeah, we were expecting, but unfortunately, like, we lost 13 lives, and our deepest condolences to all the
That's
families. It should not have happened.
that pretty
And
deeply
yeah,
devastating uh,
so
truth to deal
to
with.
answer your to answer your question in a very crisp way, yes, we were expecting. It was not a surprise. But I think we are very thankful to the God and all the security agencies, because we were impacted with a very small thing at this point of time, and still the investigations are continuing.
Right. Nicely put, Vijay. Because many of us only started paying attention after the Red Fort blast. But it seems investigators were already noticing signs much before that. So, could you walk us through how the early arrests in Jammu and Kashmir, UP, and Faridabad began, connecting to the larger investigation?
I think it all started in October 27th in J&K. There were some activity regarding the posters of JEM.
Right.
But on November 2nd, like physically, someone on the ground was actually sticking the posters and all,
Mhm.
and which that particular event actually was noticed by one of the senior officers, and it kind of triggered like why all of a sudden JEM, Jaish-e Mohammed, which is a banned entity in India and it's a terror group. Why is it? Why those posters are all of a sudden coming up? So that small kind of a what do you say? The thought process by the senior officer, I think, led to this entire story. So initially, like with that small, they started at that. They actually visited one of the locker in that particular medical college. Like after the investigation with the ground, the particular workers who they caught,
Mhm.
they found AK-47 rifle and a gun, one pistol and a lot of other stuff.
Mhm.
And from there, like they routed to Saharanpur, where they caught Dr. Adil, and his phone was found in the locker. From there, I think same thing on same on the November 7th. I think there was an independent raid that happened in Gujarat as well. That is not linked to this one, but I think there also a very deadly, dangerous terror was busted by the Gujarat anti-terror squad, ATS or ATF, what we call them. They caught three doctors who were actually trying to allegedly make a poison called ricin, which is much dangerous than cyanide, and it could kill 1 gram of that particular item. The ricin could kill 1 lakh people, and it is tasteless, odorless, and anything. But luckily, I think we were saved at that point of time. Uh, Again, from moving back from Gujarat to again from November 7th, we got something in Saharanpur, called Dr. Adil, and from his from the custody, we put them in custody and we got the information. Then it moved to Faridabad in Haryana. There is an Al Falah, what is a charitable trust which runs an hospital. It was running engineering college. I think 2019, I guess they started running this medical institute as well as a medical college. And to the surprise, that between November 7th to November 9th, I think 3 to 5 doctors and some
Right.
paramedical staff were, yeah, they were caught, and to the surprise of the nation, I think they captured close to 3,000 kgs of explosive material. Obviously, like they say 2,700 is something like an ammonium nitrate, and 300 kgs is equivalent of RDX or sort of a material. And on November 10th, early hours, like they picked up someone called as Dr. Shaheen, and she's kind of a leading this particular small network of events. So because of that, I think there was one guy who was missing, the one who kind of did the blast in the Red Fort, and the people were, I think, the security staff were haunting him. So by the time he would have got the message that all his people, like all his the particular group whom he's working, or everyone are in the police custody or the security agencies, he thought like, what is the best I can do? And I believe like he might be confused or he did not give the proper orders, because if you look at the track of him, like he entered, what do you say, Delhi roundabout like morning 5:30 or 7 in the morning, and he spent almost 3 hours in one of the mosques near to the Red Fort. 3 hours he spent there in the car parking, like he was sitting, and two people also accompanied him. I don't know what they were doing. They were trying to kind of prepare an ad hoc explosive to do something. But I think after 3 hours of wait in that parking, he started the car, and there were a lot of police barricades in the Red Fort area. I think they kind of detonated it. So in a nutshell, if I have to put it, it all started on October 27th, and more precisely on November 2nd in Jammu and Kashmir. From there, it went to Saharanpur, and it went to Gujarat, and from Gujarat, it went to Faridabad, Haryana, where the entire this bust has happened. From there, it came to Red Fort, and post the Red Fort blast, I think multiple raids across Rajasthan, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Hyderabad, Gujarat, it continued. As I speak to now, I think it is sad to say, but 70 plus doctors were kind of were arrested by the anti-terror squad or the security agencies, and they have been questioned. And we also have a lot of what do you say, medical staff also kind of looking into it. Check if you can just give me a minute. I'll just
Sure,
put
sure,
on my laptop battery in the charger. Yeah,
sure,
just
sure,
just give me a sec. I'll
sure.
just switch on my video. Okay. Sorry, all like I'm back. Yeah.
Not a problem.
So in a nutshell, that is what it is like. It's been, I would say, we are very fortunate, and we should salute all our security agencies and the police, everyone. I think uh, they kind of busted a very big terror thing, but I think still we did not escape, but we did get impacted with a smaller one. But as we discussed in earlier question as well, like 13 lives are lost, and there's a lot of grief around it, and 30
Right,
plus people were also injured.
right. So, and when the Red Fort blast happened, public awareness obviously surged. So, from your perspective, how did that event shift the momentum of the investigation, as per you?
You're saying like post the blast, how did the investigation go?
Right. From your
Yeah,
standpoint of view, how did the event shift the momentum of the investigation?
I I think like it actually fast tracked. See, until the 10th morning when we had this 3,000 kgs of the combustible material, the explosive material, and we have these doctors and all from that Al-Falah University, that Al-Falah Charitable Trust, where the medical college is run and all. Uh, Definitely, there was something they are going to do. We don't know like what is their modus of operandi, what is their plan and all. But when that car blast actually happened, then uh, we get a kind of a direction like okay, they wanted to do something in the car. They wanted to put that do a blast in the car. So if you look at Pakistan, there are a lot. They call these sort of attacks as fida-in attacks, where they kind of blast the car, and once the people kind of gather around either to for an emergency or to stop the fire and all, two or three folks come from behind and they start shooting with their AK-47. So to ensure that another 100 to 120 people die in that particular ambush. So they were thinking of to do that sort of an attack. So once post the blast, like once kind of an agencies got like this could be a possible way that they wanted to do. I think they went all out, and they were able to capture another three cars as well from that Alfala or that particular charitable resident around that. And it is believed that the news is there. It is believed that, but not officially, but across all the circles it's been discussing that they were actually planning to do this particular activity with 32 cars on December 6th, stating that it's that black day for Babri Masjid and all. But the underlying factor, it is not about the Babri Masjid, but Vladimir Putin is coming to India on that day. So
Oh,
they definitely wanted to tarnish the image of India, to put back, uh, saying that it's not a safe country, sort of a thing. And see, when a world leader is there, entire world media will be there, and lot of things will be at stake for us, right? So I think that was the underlying thing, but it's like a jackal, right? They put the tiger skin or some sort of a thing. But they wanted to say that it's like for Babri Masjid or something, the Black Day sort of a thing. But I think the real story is because we have two major things that's happening in December. Like we have Putin coming for 3 days, December 6th, and we have after 2 weeks, like we also have the Israeli folks, like key ministries from Israel are also coming to India.
right.
So I think it was very deliberate attempt to kind of tarnish the image of India as per the sources. But as I said, like uh, we don't know whether it's an end or it's a new beginning for us. But I think we have to keep fingers crossed because let's say like still we have to capture the news is the way that it is. Like still the 28 cars have to be captured, and I was reading through a lot of some material or going through a lot of podcasts and news channels and all. Now they are working these terror modules like earlier, like they were working in a spider web module. Like if you kill the spider, the entire web would have going down. Like we could have killed all the sleeper cells sort of a thing. Now they are working in something called as a starfish model. So earlier, like one spider net or the one leader would have like 100 sleeper cells, and if you have killed the leader, the 100 sleeper cells would go because they don't know what to do. Now this same 100 model, now it is divided into 10 starfishes. So let's say now we have caught one starfish. We don't know what is the nine star because no one starfish will not communicate to other starfish. They will have their own agenda of doing things. So this is
It's
what
divided into nine
they
different
kind of
branches or 10 multiple branches.
multiple branches. So uh, we don't know like whether we have reached the end of this particular number. How do we trace others and all? As I said, there's a lot to learn and a lot to unlearn so that we can it's a challenge to challenge for the security agencies, but I trust them and definitely they will get us through.
Well, one aspect that surprised many people was the profile of some individuals involved: doctors, paramedical staff. So this is not something we typically associate with such activities. So what did this shift tell investigators, and how did investigators viewed this, and what could have been their, I mean, what was their approach?
I think see, there is a lot of buzz around that it has been shifted, it's been done by the white collar and all. But personally, what I feel is there is always a white collar at the top of the chain, and people who either in the need of money, like who are deprived of financially, or like who are deprived of education, they get kind of an influence or radicalized, and they start kind of doing that. So that was a traditional model, but even for the traditional model, that to happen, we always think that some Molly or someone they can kind of a brainwash, but ultimately there would be some white collared person on the head like who's actually running the show. So they are not. I mean, they were not away from the system at any given point of time. But in this particular case, like what could have shocked everyone is uh, generally, we don't expect doctors to do that.
Right,
At
right.
least the Indian standpoint, in Indian societal standpoint, we have a lot of respect to doctors. We always treat them as God. They call us Vaidyo Narayano Hari. Like we like they are like God because they kind of save the life. So I think it would be a little bit shocker that like, okay, someone who has read something, spent like 10, 12 years of his time in learning the medicine and saving some lives, how can they kind of get radicalized or influenced to take life? So one hand they are saving one, like it's like out of the box, no one has thought. Like, see, if it is as an engineer, like prior to this, I think somewhere in July or August, like they have caught a CA in Delhi who
Mhm.
was doing all these sort of activities. It was not surprised because although it was also a white collar thing, but uh, because CA is a normal professional, we think like, okay, he will not have that soft corner because when we think of a doctor, we always think that they'll have that soft corner because they kind of save the lives. So I think that particular the doctors is a very surprising factor, but the white collar is not a surprising factor. The doctors one, and they kind of took the advantage. Like if someone would have got 3,000 explosive material because
Right,
these doctors they have license to test something in the labs and all, so they took that advantage and kind of managed it. So that's a surprise factor.
right. Seeing this, I mean, the educated elite people uh, getting into this kind of situation is beyond comprehension. It's deeply concerning, deeply shocking.
It don't. I mean, definitely it is, but I think if people can take step back and look at the entire world where these sort of things are happening and all, like if someone looks at the Twin Tower attacks, like which was orchestrated by Osama bin Laden, he's an engineer, like so. I
Right,
think education will not change something. We always have that like education will change the mindset or education will change something. See, education might help to change your economic background or your financial needs or like it can step up some respect in the society and all. but the underlying psychology or the underlying basics from where you were brought up, or you have been radicalized, I think that will not change. But for me, for the radicalization, if you add education, actually you will have a double result like what we are seeing.
Right. So,
3,000 kgs is like, see, it's just unimaginable, right? Like how many lives would have gone. Even if you look at that Gujarat ATS trailer bus on the
have
rising
kept
thing, it's
the
like
innocent lives totally in the harm's way.
1 gram could kill 1 lakh, and there is no antidote for that. So, like, what else we can talk? See, if someone does, like, why it is very surprising, like, it's like kind of, I would not say hurting, but as I say, it's like agonizing. It's like, how can a doctor do that?
Right. So we will also talk about funding, then communication methods, and the idea of small independent cells. So, but before we go deeper, I want to pause and acknowledge the human cost here. Lives were lost, families suffered, shattered. As someone who studies these issues, how do you balance analyzing the data with the emotional weight of the incident?
See, emotionally, it's definitely, see, even like, even let's assume that we did not lose any life, if someone would have actually got hurt or injured, even that is like a very emotional thing for that particular family, right? Like people who lost, the 13 people who lost life, they have no connection with anything. They are the innocent people. Why should innocent people kind of die? Because some country wanted to prove that India is not a good, viable place for a destination like to invest and all, because their place is anyhow not good. So at the end of the day, it is always that innocent people or innocent families that get lost, irrespective of religion, caste, and all. Once someone is lost in the life, there it's like a huge, like a, what is it, like it's a huge gap. We cannot fill that. No one can fill that. And definitely, I think these sort of attacks should be condemned by all sections of the society, irrespective of caste, religion, and all. People should come forward and start kind of condemning this. Maybe that would kind of de-radicalize this sort of events and all. But I think it's a very very highly emotional thing. Like even I think during this particular event, I think our Prime Minister flew to Bhutan. Mhm. And I think the speech that what he delivered in Bhutan, like he was in very very quite sorrow, because like uh, I think it's very high emotional thing. Like now we are doing this one. Why? Because like it's a definitely thing that as an Indian, it leave about as an Indian, like, and as a human being, we always feel bad. Like if someone loses
Human
for
reaction,
a reason. Yeah,
human to human.
these are all covered tactics and covered acts. You know?
Right, right, right. All right, let's now move into the bigger question many of us have. What can we do as a society and as a country to strengthen long term resilience? Not in a way that divides people, but in a way that encourages cooperation, security, and trust.
I think I'll just share my deck here. Maybe I just kept it with your permission.
Sure, 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 sure. Because
I'll not take much time,
part
but
of it, I
yeah.
was about to ask you that as part of your observations, you're going to share that PPT deck that you were trying to share it with the viewers. Yeah, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, I think you have to give me the permission.
Oh, okay, okay. Yes, sir.
Just give me a second.
Sure, sure.
So let me know if you can see the deck.
Yeah, it's just showed up. It's visible.
Yeah. So I think I think the topic of my PPT is also like Delhi Blast, lot to learn and unlearn. As I said, like lot to learn is like we are back uh, to the operand. I would say like I'll just go into the second slide. Like why I'm saying that, why what to actually we have to learn. See, if you look at this particular thing, the modus of operandi, until Op Sindhu, like until the
Can
Pahalgam attack,
probably
I think,
zoom in, Vijay. It's a little, the letters are quite tiny.
Is it fine now? Little
Probably you
more?
can zoom in more. Yeah, fine.
Okay. I'll just put a slideshow. Is it
Mm.
fine now? Is it begin?
If there is a possible,
Yeah.
please, yeah, run the slideshow. That would be better.
Okay, fine. This is okay, right?
Right, right.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll not take more time because I think we're running out of the time now. I think the two things like I would like to put up here is like the modus of operandi that actually changed in this particular event. Normally, the people within India, they were used to more for a logistics or an operational support, and external entities, the terror groups from Pakistan, either it could be Jaish-e Mohammed or LET, the Lashkar-e-Taiba, or other groups, they actually come and they actually do the attacks, or people get trained from ISR. But after the post Sindoor, I think because of a new doctrine that any terror attack we consider it as an act of war. Now they kind of change their gears, and they are acting as a logistics, and they are keeping our internal actors as a front runners for this particular set of actions. So this is what they wanted to convey the international diaspora is like it is an internal issue. If you look at the entire group or entire people who are caught, these are all totally Indians. Like it's nothing to do with us. But however, the initial investigations are always suggesting that these are all handled by Jaish-e Mohammed and we have handled from Turkey. And we are also getting this, what was that, ammonium nitrate and all. It is believed that it has been brought in from via Bangladesh route as well. So the entire modus of operandi changed. Now the Indian sleeper cells are put in the front, and it's a deliberate attempt to show that it's a very internal issue. It's nothing to do with them, but in the same way, they also wanted to kind of disturb or tarnish the image of India when the global leaders are coming and ensuring they know that they cannot impact much, but if they do like three, four, something like these futile attempts or some smaller attempts, like they can put some pressure on the international diaspora and maybe kind of tarnish the image of Bharat. So that's one thing I would like to say. And this time when they operated, I think they operated the entire funding and all. It come through via cryptocurrency and all. They use multiple wallets and all. It's a little complicated, but to escape the FATF and all, they use the wallets and crypto. So I think 70% of the funding for this particular operation came via that route. So I wanted to highlight those two. And coming back to your point, like what is now for us, like what could be the learnings or what are the key takeaways? Am I right? Like
One to action.
points of action. So I think we can put it this way, like we did ops indoor, now we have to do ops indoor. Like because it's very easy for us to deal with Pakistan and easy in the sense like it's to do one more Sindoor sort of an action either with Pakistan or Bangladesh, it's definitely doable. But before that, I think from our perspective, from we know like we also discuss very often before we actually coming live on this particular program.
Right,
I
right,
think it is better that we actually address a lot of things internally. I
right.
think the first and foremost thing would be is to create an internal security portfolio like which we don't have currently and a collaborative community dialogue across the nation for long-term solutions because it's been 75 years and we're still struggling with this set of problems. And when we have a Bharat 2047 program to become a global power, I think it's high time that all the politicians, all the influencers, all the people, like they have to across religions, caste, they have to sit across and try to address the grievances and what exactly is that. And it's time for everyone to say that nation first rather than their religion or caste or their particular language or community. I think that should be worked out definitely. And
And
as
should be the motto
we were
as
discussing,
well. Should be the motto.
yeah, and as you rightly we discussed in offline, I think unity and awareness that strengthens our resilience because the more united we are, it's a very diversified country. Every 50 kilometers, you'll find a new dialect or a new language. It's more diverse than the entire world or entire country. So I think we got to stay united, and that gives us a lot of resilience. And I would definitely particularly want to thank the entire people in this particular set of events. Like they kind of supported the government, so I don't. They did not get influenced by the negative social influences and all with regards to these events. And I think they supported the government. So we got that faster investigation results because people behaved very maturely at this point of
Right,
time.
right.
So
I completely echo with you 100%. And staying united is no more a choice or nor no more an option. We want to survive. It is a mandate.
yeah,
It's a must.
yeah, yeah. And also I think it's been 75 years, and I think government should definitely come with a better governance model for Kashmir. I think we kind of removed the Article 370, and we kind of divided into three union territories, I believe. But I think next steps, the follow-up steps should be there so that we could get more proper security and peace in the valley and for the rest of the India as well. We can see that a majority of the event was triggered from Kashmir, but it was actually triggered from an external entities from Pakistan, Turkey, or Bangladesh. So it's like we should always ensure that we are intact. So the unity and plays a great role, and definitely a community dialogue, and putting try not to be politically right. I think it's enough that the country has been politically right for last 25 years, but now I think we have to. I think government or every individual has to take a decision what is right for the country, not try to be politically correct. So I think that would be the major steps that people. I think government. I think they definitely have a better judgment than us. I think they are working on that. Until they sort out this internally, I don't think they will try doing something on the external side. But on the external side, like if someone has to look at Sindhu 2.0, like people have been talking for last 3 4 months, like because there is a lot of heated dialogue that's going on between our defense minister and border across. But I think this time, I that's my belief. I think we'll not do more of a kinetic action like what we did on the Sindhu 1.0. It will be more tactically. I think there's a lot of internal things that are going inside the Pakistan. I think we will. I believe that we should be using that route to ensure that we kind of help in reducing their energies there, and strategically and increase support to Afghanistan. And I think we have to do it more publicly. Uh, so it also sends a strong message to a lot of nations like China, USA, and a lot of others when we start. Now we are doing like behind the curtain, but I think it's time that we have to do something very public. It sends a strong message. And I know like if people notice that there is a lot of no TAM, no flying zone, and there was a lot of testing in the Arabian waters and Bay of Bengal for
Probably
last two
that's
to three
the
weeks.
way of, I mean, I probably may differ with the idea of doing things behind the curtain, or rather being in a geopolitical framework. Probably that's how things go on. Since our information, our awareness as far as geopolitics is limited, uh, probably we need to see how the government carves out its plan of action effectively.
No,
And
see, definitely, see, I'm not saying that like, except for the second point, I'm only stressing on like what we do for Afghanistan should come out in public. See, like there's a lot of support that, and there's a lot of people to people relation in Afghanistan. They respect India. So I think see when we wanted to like assume that we are the power of a global south or anything, I think there should be certain steps also that we have to take as a rising power, that we have to take that. We just can't say that we are strong by not doing right. So sometimes that we have to definitely take some steps. So people also know that we have power. So I'm not saying that we should go do wars and all, but I think people are working there. I'm just like it's our this one influences. But I think other thing is like we have to ensure that the LOC is always warm. Either do some night time or do smaller activities. Ensure that the borders are always warm and engaged, and we kind of waste out the energies other side of Pakistan. So and keep the other side of I think the west side of Pakistan with Afghanistan. We have TLP, Baluch, and also I think we have to be more tactical and strategical this time rather than a direct kinetic action. Direct kinetic action we have to do in smaller pockets rather than doing it on the higher side. I think this time Karachi would be a good place of action because that's like an economical, what do you say, center for Pakistan. So I think we have 1 minute left, Chakri. Maybe if you want to add a one,
Yeah.
what do you say, thank you note on
Well,
your
well, well.
one.
Certainly, I mean, adding to your points, it's a high time that we call a spade as a spade. So with that point said, so let's conclude that. First, let me thank you for spending this time with us, Vijay. So, if you would like more balanced conversations like this, viewers, stay connected with On the Mic. Your engagement helps bring thoughtful discussions into the public space. See you in the next episode. Har Har Mahadev. Good night.
Har Har
Jai Hind.
Mahadev, and we'll connect to you very soon.
Jai Hind and signing off.
Jai Hind.